Espresso Talks by Sphere Energy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Espresso Talks. Today I'm very excited for this first fall episode to have a brand new guest here with us, and without further ado, I would love to give you the stage and let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hello everybody, I'm Stefan, investment manager at Bayern Kapital. I'm there for almost 2 years. Before that I was 15 years in corporate finance, backing some middle-class companies in Bavaria.
Amazing. Yeah, Bayern Kapital has played a crucial role in Bavaria's startup and high-tech scene for decades now, right? And what I'd love to start our discussion with a little bit is understanding what is Bayern Kapital and what is different to any of the other VC firms.
Yeah, we are really proud to can celebrate our 15th birthday this year. So it would be a great party, a few weeks to go. And since that time, we have backed more than 300 companies. Have an active portfolio of 120 companies, and have a strong focus on high and deep tech technologies.
It's impressive, with over 700 million under management, right?
Yeah, so far at the moment we have around 700 million under management. Our newest fund generation is about to start in the next weeks with another 500 million. And so we have a great setup for the next, not 30 years, but for the next 5 to 7 years. I think we are pretty good funded, yeah.
Amazing.
Nice.
What would you say is Bayern Kapital's main mission when you invest in a company?
We always try to be a reliable partner over all stages of the companies. So we always try to get in pretty early. We can also invest in later stages, but our mission is always to invest in the early stages and back the company over all their stages, from pretty early pre-seed stage up to scale-up stages. We can invest with tickets between 250k up to 25 million at the moment, with our next fund generation up to 50 million per company. And we always want to be, as I say, the reliable partner, not only in good times. A lot of startups have also tough times ahead, and we always try to help them, not just with money, also with our great network we have in politics, economics. So in the whole area we are network and always try to help also with them.
Nice. And I mean, as a regional fund, you always have to balance a couple of objectives and missions, right? On the one hand side, obviously you're looking for returns, right? I mean, you're a return-driven fund, but on the other side, you also have the mission to strengthen the region, the Bavarian region. And how do you balance? Usually it shouldn't be a trade-off, right? But how do you balance those two objectives?
Yeah, it's as you said, we also need returns to get the next fund generation, but we have the mission to expand Bavaria as a strong hub for high and deep tech companies. And so we always try to build really European champions, that's what we try to do. So, and for us, it's not necessary to have the companies don't just to be located just in Bavaria. So we're always happy to have international companies with sites also, not only Bavaria, also abroad in other countries, to build the next European champions. So, and we to invest. It's not necessary to be headquartered here in Bavaria. We also have international investments in companies like IQM in Finland, LumaVision in Ireland, few others from all over Europe. And what's important for us is that they have a really strong site in Bavaria, where we have employees, not just a 2-guy sales team. So what we want to see is always kind of R&D happens here in Bavaria. So we have long-term employees here, and also the development should be happen here in Bavaria.
You mentioned it yourself, you have a very large portfolio of companies that you back, right? So you have companies on one end of the spectrum that maybe give you immediate monetizations, faster to the market and things like that. But I'm also thinking of other companies like, for example, Proxima Fusion, who's a bit more of a longer horizon company, right? Will take longer, is, maybe a more risky investment, bigger investment as well. So one of the questions I have is, you're a state-backed VC, right? Do you feel like state-backed funds maybe put their risks higher than private VCs in investing in companies like that, for example?
I think you can split it in state-backed and private VCs. There are also a lot of private VCs. They have a strong focus on deep tech companies. But what you have to mention is the exits are not in the next 5 to 7 years. So we have here really long-term investments, and that is what you have to know when you do the investment. And there are a lot of funds, they are really exit driven, and they say, okay, we have a runway of the fund from 5 years, 7 years, then we have to do the exit. Doesn't matter how far is the company, if they're ready for the exit or not. That's good that we are not that exit driven. So we have companies in our portfolio since almost 20 years. A good example for this is also eGym. Has turned to unicorn last year. We invested there since 13 years. So, we are not doing the pressure for them to do the exit in the next months or years. So we always happy to see them growing faster.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very interesting, let's say, tension, right, in the field of investment. I mean, we've also experienced that over the years, months. We have spoken to Bayern Kapital, we have spoken to family offices, to VCs, and I think it was always in our conversations, obviously the numbers matter, right? But I think the more sustainable, more that we as a startup have the skill set and the tool set to solve our challenges for a sustainable growth was always more important. And we really enjoyed this conversation. And this is the tension that I tried to mention between maybe the more American way to invest, which was popular maybe before 21, and now maybe the more sustainable growth oriented investment like Bayern Kapital yourself. And how do you see this tension? Obviously there are pros and cons to both aspects, but maybe tying back to Amy's point, do you think that you need to be state-backed to put more weight on sustainable growth compared to maybe private LPs that are looking for fast returns?
To be honest, most of the private funds are also state-backed in parts. So KfW, also our mother LFR, Förderbank Bayern, are backing most of the private venture funds. EIB, ESC, just name it. There are a lot of European and German banks or politics sides who are backing also private funds. So I think you don't need to be public backed or a public fund to do long-term investments. You can also do it with LPs who know about the long time you need to build a strong business model, long-term business model.
I agree.
Maybe going back to the location point that we brought up earlier, obviously a big focus of you is the region of Bavaria, but not only. However, now focusing a bit on the Bavaria region, how do you see the ecosystem here evolving in terms of the companies that you're backing?
I think we have a great ecosystem for deep tech companies. So we have a great ecosystem for nuclear fusion, also quantum technologies, AI, biotechnologies is really strong here. Defense, it is, and also space tech. And you said defense. I think defense is not just a sector here. It's a lot of the other sectors I told you or I mentioned are focused on defense, or not focused on defense, but have an impact for the defense economy. So defense companies, of course, need AI. They, of course, need quantum technologies. They, of course, need space tech, batteries, of course. And so I think we have a really, really strong ecosystem here for deep tech companies because of the customers defined here. So we have a few of the largest and world-leading companies here, not only in the automotive sector, also far around there. And also the rest of the ecosystem is great. We have a lot of institutions like Unternehmertum by Startup and others. They really help and support founders in the early stages. And we have also great academic sites here. So we have great universities like LMU, TU, TUM. We have great institutions like Max Planck Institut Fraunhofer here, and where we have really a lot of spin-offs, but also enough graduates who can be employed there. It's really important.
Absolutely, and I can only echo that as a founder of a Bavarian company. It's really a great ecosystem, not just because of Bayern Kapital. Yeah, while talking about the ecosystem, maybe, I mean, let's face it, I think the German economy is facing some challenging times, not just the German economy, but also the German economy. How do you see that, if at all, reflected in the approach, the strategy, and the daily business of Bayern Kapital?
Yeah, we're facing difficult times, but I think always when I see these young companies, these really, really innovative companies, I'm in a really good mood. About the future, it is. So we see really great founders there. We see great technologies where we can really become technological leaders.
Mm-hmm.
When you mention like young companies like that, especially in the, let's talk energy sector, AI sector and all that, obviously a common feeling is this wanting speed and wanting flexibility. How do you, I assume that's also a challenge for you guys as well, because how do you try to cope with that?
Yeah, speed and flexibility is always important, not just for the startups. I think it's the same in the big corporates.
Sure.
But bureaucracy is definitely a blocker in that case. And I think that's one of the most important missions also for politics to help the ecosystem.
Sure.
To lower bureaucracy everywhere.
Yeah, but for sure. Maybe to introduce how we know each other, right? I think that's also important to the audience and the listeners. I mean, we have had great interactions with Bayern Kapital. We talked a lot about collaboration opportunities, partnership, obviously you investing in us. We then ended up taking another strategic path. Nevertheless, the reason why we are still in contact and why we really appreciated the conversation is that we believe you're taking also a more human approach to investing, right? I think the first thing you said when we started the conversation is like, I need to meet you guys. You drove here, you met us in Augsburg. Obviously, as I mentioned, right, numbers are important, are always important, but we felt that the first question is always, do those people have the right skills and the right tools to cope with all those challenges ahead? And just to add, obviously then when we spoke with the IC, the investment committee of Bayern Kapital, very impressive group of people, group of entrepreneurs from the Bavarian region that have made it, truly, that have really shown and proven that how success works in the business world. And we really appreciated the exchange, right? They really understood what it means to build a business. They obviously saw the challenges, flaws, but they really focused on, hey, is this group of people, of young people, ready to face those challenges and not just trying to put those challenges under the rug. And I think that really speaks to an investment fund like Bayern Kapital, the investment committee and the people, the investment managers. So just maybe the question to you, where is this human approach rooted? Is this really part of your mission, your strategy, or is this really something you say that's just part of who we are and the people we are hiring?
I think both. So I think it's definitely part of our mission and of our strategy. We not just investing in ideas, you also need the great teams behind that. who are backing that. So I think if you have a great team who is leading in a strong way, having the seeing the mission, how to go forward, they can also deal with hard times. And if you're having teams there with different competences, helping each other in different things, that's always great. And I think that's really the most important thing in a company.
The mindset as well.
Yeah, of course, the mindset. And having see the mission, leading the team in a great way, that's the most important thing we seek. Yeah.
I got stuck a little bit on a point earlier on when you mentioned the US as well and how they invest in companies, and you're talking just briefly about the Silicon Valley hype, right? How they do things and how we do things in Europe, but specifically in Germany. Do you feel like Germany is missing out with this whole culture of, let's say, the Mittelstand style type of investing? Or will there ever be such a thing like, I don't know, Silicon Bavaria or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, it's always funny to deal with investors from the US. They always want to see the financial plan with their really great hockey stick. Everybody knows that it's never coming, but they
exactly.
Want to see, yeah.
That's exactly the point.
Everybody wants to see that, and if I always try to communicate open with the founders and say, okay, do a model for them and do a model for us. We want to see a house where you personally see the chance that you can go.
Yeah, so not this unicorn fascination, but really,
Yeah. We always, as you also say, we always want to build the next German Mittelstand. That's good for us. So
I love that, yeah.
It's always great to have unicorns in your portfolio, of course. So we, in the last year, 3 of our portfolio companies turned into unicorns. That's great, and we're celebrating it, and we're happy about that. But what we also want to see are long-term business models, capital efficient business model. That's also great for us.
Yeah, I love that.
You mentioned a couple of companies who invested. I mean, some of them are really huge successes, great successes. I mean, IQM you mentioned in the beginning, Commerce Tools, eGym I think is another one that led to exits, right?
Not yet.
Some of them, yeah.
Already exited.
Some of them.
Not yet, but yeah.
Can you talk a bit, I mean, I'm interested more in kind of your approach in assessing those startups. Have you been managing one of those investments?
No.
By chance?
Not so far, no. I'm only there for 2 years, so managing not directly.
But I'm just interested in how you're assessing startups, right? And can you, in those cases where there's a successful trajectory of a startup, can you confidentially say that, yeah, I knew it before. So I knew it in the very beginning that they have the right setup.
Yeah, at the end of the story, everybody says that he knew it. But to be honest, by some of the startups, nobody can't imagine that it went that great. To be honest, there are few. And in other cases, there are only a lot of where you think, okay, that's the next unicorn, and they fail. So both is possible. And what we always try to is help them over all stages, be a reliable partner. So when we, for example, talk about eGym, we invested there in 2012. They're doing hardware for fitness centers. So that's what they started with. And hardware is always hard to be funded by a lot of VCs because the scaling is not that easy like classical software companies. But we backed them back in 2012, was the seed round. So we were one of the first investors. Backed them all over the years while the scaling process and also the Corona pandemic. So they really had really hard times because all fitness studios were closed. We did another financing round at that time. And then they turned also the business model more to the well pass thing. what they are now famous for. And they did the turnaround also in that difficult times and are now one of our unicorns.
That's impressive. So the capability to pivot and to have the courage to do something different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Maybe one question to connect a little bit, obviously also about to what we do at Sphere, but more generally speaking, AI, right? AI is a big topic, obviously, everywhere at the moment. We've talked about it in almost every episode so far. What I would like to understand, especially from your perspective, is this AI more kind of like a bubble that you guys see there's so much hype, or is this actually something you see as, I don't know, the real thing right now, the thing to invest in?
Yeah, of course. AI is really important to every sector. But what is important for me is if startups say, okay, we use AI. Every startup adds a slide in the deck for, okay, we're using AI, we're AI driven, and that's it. So, but if you going in depth and ask them, okay, for what do you use AI? Maybe so don't know for what they're using it really. Maybe they plan the next company offsite via ChatGPT or something like that. But for us, it's always important, when they use AI with depth, using it, and is it really important for to strengthen the company, or is it just an add-on to just to name it and marketing campaign or something like
100%.
that. Yeah.
I mean, tying it to Sphere, I'm sure you will add on to something like that, but exactly what you just said, maybe finding those deep use cases where you can actually use AI for something in a sector where it's needed, like the energy sector right now. I mean, maybe Luca can touch upon that a bit better.
Sure, I obviously want to piggyback on the AI topic, but when we look at how AI is transforming the way companies are built, I think that has a big impact also on the investment and financing world, right? Where maybe 5 years ago, teams needed 3 million funding, people or a team of 20 people to develop an MVP. We can now develop with, say, 200,000 and 2 people in the basement, MVP that looks already way more sophisticated than whatever has built before. And I think this is where my question then comes for you, is how do you kind of think about how companies can be built with less capital when investing, especially probably in the early stages?
I think definitely AI can help in that case, but you have to use it in the right way. So Sphere has built his business model around AI. So most of your model is growing on AI.
Yeah, it's a core competency.
It's a core competency, yeah, exactly. And so if you use it in the right way, of course, you can save money, you can fasten your processes, and you can add more value. But that's what we always want to see, how you use it in the daily business.
I see. So you don't see a tendency yet in saying we invest less, but more tickets. So ticket size is reduced, but just the portfolio is increasing because people can do with less more. You don't see this tendency yet.
I really don't see that. I think they need at least the same amounts of money, but they spend it in other ways. Yeah. So they add. Sometimes you see they add some AI tools, but have 3 more people at the C-level to manage the AI tool. So it's not always the straight way we wanted to see.
I see. Yeah, makes sense.
Maybe something directly for some of our founders out there. If you would have to name the #1 mistake that people make when, or that people keep repeating despite all the advice there is out there.
The #1 mistake, I think, is to be not honest in talking or in the communication with your partners. I think it's the most important thing to be honest to all the partners, not only to VCs, also to your customers, to your whole team, to your employees. I think that's the most important thing.
That's an awesome advice, yeah.
Awesome statement, yeah. I mean, thank you very much already for your insights. Maybe if we can end it on one last question. Now, if we were to look forward, let's say 10 years, what would you like the headline to be for Bavaria specifically?
Yeah, it would be great if we can rise the strong ecosystems that we even have here, and to see future European and worldwide leading companies growing here, staying here, because that's also a really tough thing. In the exit process, there's often not enough money in Europe, and a lot of teams got sold to overseas. And so for us, it would be great if they can stay here, grow here, and we have a lot of European leaders placed here in Bavaria. And of course, Bayern Kapital would help them, and
We are working on it every day.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan. And thank you guys a lot for listening in. And we'll see you next month with our new episode with a new guest speaker.